Channel 3. This is Sports Final.
Hello again to you. Welcome to this championship edition of Sports Final. You can call it March Magic as well. I'm Eric Clemons. The UConn women have done it. They finished 39-0 and finished not with a perfect game, but a perfect record to win their third national championship in school history. Gino Auriemma, his third in his 16th season as UConn head coach. Now, of course, we had all the festivities at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Our man down there with the UConn women all week long has been one Joe Tessitore. Joe is standing by live. He'll have a lot more from San Antonio. Joe, happy times down there, I would presume.
Eric, they are ready to party here in the River City tonight in Texas, and they're going to continue it tomorrow at Bradley and, of course, tomorrow afternoon at Gamble Pavilion. I'm outside the Alamo Dome now, but just moments ago I was inside that championship celebrating locker room. When we come back, Tamika Williams joins us. Stay with us on Sports Final.
Welcome back to Sports Final. If you've been hiding under a rock, the UConn women do it. They go 39-0. to win the national championship, their second in 3 years. And Gamble Pavilion, the students and fans of UConn celebrating by shaking those things out there in Stores, Connecticut. The party will continue, I'm sure, well into the wee hours of the night. Welcome back to Sports Final. Let's take a score, by the way. UConn 82, Oklahoma 70 in that national championship game. Swin, Asia, Tamika, the forwards, the seniors, all combined for 51 points. They also out-rebound Oklahoma 44-25. Joe Tessitore has been our man in San Antonio all week long. And, Joe, I got a question for you before you start with all the post-game celebration and interviews and so forth. It seemed to me that for the first time in a long time, the UConn women actually came out a little bit tight in this game. Did you get the same feeling?
Eric, they were so tight early, and when they weren't tight, they were jumpy. Here's the sense that I got courtside. You had the sense that they were looking up at the clock when the game started and saying, hey, when this thing gets down to zeros, we're going to get we're going to be the national champions. You also had the sense that that's exactly how the UConn fans felt. Instead of the UConn fans rallying, looking forward to good things to happening, they only reacted to good things happening. This was a game where I think UConn knew they were going to win the national championship, so they sat back waiting to win the national championship, and because of that, 0 for 9 on three-pointers, 21 turnovers, sloppy fouls into foul trouble early, putting the other team in the bonus. It's exactly what you saw. It was one of the worst games they've played in months. And in doing that, they still win by 12 against probably the second-best team in the country. What more can you say, Eric?
Hey, well, I feel like a genius. My prediction had UConn by 12. The score wasn't right, but I had them winning by 12. One more thing.
By 30.
Rebounding and inside play really made the difference. 44-25 for UConn on the boards. And the three forwards, Swin, Asia, Tamika, combining for 51 points. That was all she wrote, really, in the ballgame.
Yeah, Tamika was very emotional afterwards, Eric. She put in a lot of hard work into this season, of course, was injured for a good part of the season, went through a lot of difficulties with that. And just moments ago, I was in the locker room and caught up with now the two-time national champion, Tamika Williams. What's going through your head right now?
Just a little bit of everything, you know? It really doesn't hit you until you get in here with everybody. And
what happened with everybody in here when you guys closed that door?
I mean, a little dancing, a lot of pictures, and coach, you know, just telling us that we all know what it took to get here. And it's only us and the coaches that really knew every day what we had to go through to get here. And it wasn't easy. I didn't want it to be an easy game. I didn't want to blow them out by 30, 40 points. I wanted to, you know, make it a game. And I'm sure everybody enjoyed it, and we made history. And, you know, everything you guys said was right. Now I can finally say it was right.
There's always that one image that stays in you.
You know, like I said, I won't believe the history part and the undefeated part, although there's a nice shirt of Gap that says undefeated on it I want to go get.
There's always one image that sticks with you. What is it that got burned into your head tonight? What's the one image?
Winning. I remember when it was 20 seconds left, the block shot, I remember I kept screaming, we got one more rebound. And they kept it tough, hit that three. I remember the block shot, getting the ball and thinking it was over with who was at the line shooting free throws, and just squatting down and being like, all this, all the yelling, all the screaming, all the defensive drills, all the offensive drills, all the headaches, all the mental breakdowns that we had for 4 years. Sweet 16, winning in 2000, but it was Shayen's Fest. You know, last year losing, everything runs through your mind.
Greatest team ever?
I don't think so. You know, we kind of wanted to push it because JJ was pushing us every day, but when you got players ahead of you like Rebecca Lobo and Jim Rosati and Jamel Elliott and Peggy and Meg Patterson and players like that, you can't be the greatest. You know what I'm saying? Are we up there with one of the best? Yes. Will we challenge probably one of the best teams? Yes. But the game is moving so fast, there's going to be another, 4 or 5 like us that's going to do some good for women's basketball.
Some of your college career.
Eric, Tamika Williams didn't want to say it. She doesn't want to admit they're the greatest team ever. Very humble. But you know what, Eric? They are the greatest team ever. This team 39-0. Statistically, they did things that no other UConn team did. And just think of it this way. It was an absolute no-brainer that they were going to be in this Final Four. It was a no-brainer that they were going to be in this championship game. And although they played poorly tonight, it was pretty much a lock they were going to win it. That shows how good they are. And thank goodness for Tamika Williams with her easy scoring down low. She was 6 out of 7. Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, 5 out of 16 and 3 out of 9. If it wasn't for their 11 for 11 free throws, the backcourt without much production tonight. So obviously, as you saw, they're very emotional. Tamika Williams, Eric.
Absolutely, Joe. You know, it's funny when you think about this team and when they start to think a lot and not play, they can really look awfully sloppy. Let's go back to last year's Final Four when they are beating the devil out of Notre Dame there in that semifinal game, and it all of a sudden hit them. Hey, Sveta's hurt, and also Shea Ralph is hurt. Are we supposed to be doing this? And Notre Dame roared back. It would have been a great, great story had they made the championship game last year. But I believe, like you said, it was a foregone conclusion. Everybody knew that if these people stayed healthy this year, that he had the best starting 5 probably that has ever played in the game of women's college basketball. And I think their record goes to show for itself. We'll get back to you, Joe, in just a little bit. From there in San Antonio for more on the UConn women and their reaction to going 39-0 and winning the national championship. Let's show you how it all unfolded tonight at the Alamo Dome. 38-0 UConn going for a piece of history against 32-3 Oklahoma. Sherry Cole coaching against her great friend Gino Auriemma for all the marbles at the Alamo Dome. UConn got off to its typical start. Asia Jones red hot early. The foul line jumper, 12 for Connecticut. Oklahoma would mount a nice rally. Rosalind Ross called a silent killer. Because of that, the 3, UConn's lead cut to 16-13. UConn more runs, though. Diana Taurasi, the sweet dish to Swin Cash for the lay-in. Huskies back up by 10. Guess what? Oklahoma mounts another comeback. Deanna Jackson, the feed to Stacey Dale, who'll get it inside. Off the backboard for 2 on the layup, 33-28 UConn. Huskies got the last run of the half, though. Sue Bird transition. Takes the pull-up, 36-30. Huskies later, transition again. Watch Bird. Hit her trailer, Jessica Moore for the lay-in. This was nice. UConn into the half with an 8-0 run, went into the break with the lead at 42-30. UConn doing the job at the half. Now only 20 minutes of basketball left for UConn to make some history, but you knew Oklahoma wouldn't go away in the second half. Let's go to the second half of play now. UConn began by pounding it inside. They did this all night. Tamika Williams gets the feed from Diana, 46-33. Later, Tamika again, this time on the offensive glass. Great position, back up and in. UConn kept the 13-point lead on the putback. How about some defense? Diana Taurasi on the steal, block at one end. She gets it up to Sue Bird. Watch the hesitation dribble right there. Gets to the rack. The hesitation dribble produces the layup. 52-38 Huskies. UConn kept pounding it inside. Asia Jones, the offensive rebound and the hoop. Huskies now by 15. Looked like a rout. But Oklahoma getting it. Gales with the scoop shot up and under. She hits the basket. And now look at the pretty backdoor. Tamika to Asia, 62-47 Huskies. Later, Ross for 3. She hits it. That makes it 62-53. And then on the offensive rebound, the silent killer, Ross again. Cuts the deficit to 8, 68-60. The lead now only 6 when Asia Jones got inside in the lane. Little flop job from the defense there. Asia knew what to do with it. Sherry Cole's not happy, 73-65. Then after timeout, they drop a play for Diana, who scores it. Draws the foul on All-American Stacey Dales. Dales with her 5th of the game, sends her to the bench. And Sherry Cole, well, she knew what that meant. It meant trouble for her Oklahoma Sooners. UConn hit free throws down the stretch. and held off Oklahoma despite 21 turnovers and 0 for 9 from three-point range. UConn finishes 39-0 for its third national championship in 7 seasons, and it was time to celebrate. And we'll get back out to San Antonio, Texas in just a little bit for more as this championship edition of Sports Final and March Magic rolls on in just a few moments. Stay with us.
Long time, but look at Diana Taurasi. Timing-wise, didn't know Dales was going to come. Stacey Dales, she's gone. University of Connecticut.
Welcome back to this championship edition of Sports Final and March Magic. UConn women 39-0, winning the school's third national championship, second in 3 years. Gino Auriemma holding up that national championship trophy. And of course, the 4 seniors, Swin, Asia, Tamika, and Sue. Yes, with the UConn women, you can call them all by first names, and everybody around these parts knows what you're talking about. UConn women started strong, finished strong, never really seriously challenged, but once or twice all year, and certainly tonight in the national championship game against a very game Oklahoma Sooner team of Sherry Cole. 82-70 is your final. Now let's send it back out to our man in San Antonio, Joe Tessitore, with more from the winning side. And Joe, I guess one thing I feel a sense of and get a sense of when you talk to fans all week long, and you've been talking to some fans out there, is this team will be taken for granted because they've been so excellent all year long. It's kind of like ho-hum, they won the national championship, but this is really the culmination of a lot of hard work.
Oh, very much so, Eric. And I think you talk about taking them for granted, the fact that we sit back and even discuss it being a close game, winning a national championship by 12. That's absolutely unheard of. You know, it all goes back to 1995, and you got to remember that win against Tennessee to get this whole thing started. They were losing in that game in the second half. They came back. We caught up with somebody that could answer the question as to which team is the greatest. She played on that team. She coaches this team, Jamel Elliott. Say that again, what is it? What's the greatest team ever?
19, 2000, 95, and 2.
Okay.
02.
Kind of a morphing there, a merging.
Yes, right. So if you combine both the teams, you will have the greatest team in the history of history.
Can you please give me a little play-by-play to the final second going off the clock there and what you did?
Well, I was just trying to stay calm. You know, the game wasn't over, and, you know, they was fouling, and, you know, I just wanted them to enjoy the moment, and I was just counting down the seconds and hoping that the clock got to 0-0 really
when it got to 0-0.
Then I was excited. I gave Gino a big hug, and then
I think you lifted him a few feet off.
Did I? Oh, injured. Oh, well, he lost a lot of weight, so I'm able to do that now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Eric, did you catch that, by the way, when she did that? She lifted Gino Auriemma right off the ground. Jamel Elliott, a wonderful character on this team. She tries to stay in the background a bit, but when you bring it out of her, boy, can she talk a good game.
Yes, she can, and of course, she is a quiet one. She and Tanya Cordoza, a couple of the UConn assistants there, but she was a tough player back in her day on the 95 national championship team, and you could see some of that coming through. She's a little gruff at your question as to which team was the best ever. I think deep down inside, Joe, she feels her team would have beaten the UConn team of 2002, if only for a size factor. I mean, they had Rebecca, they had her, they had some people who could really pound it inside. It would have been an interesting matchup, don't you think?
Yeah, you know, and I've talked to some of those players on that 1995 team about making the comparison between that undefeated team at 35-0 and this undefeated team at 39-0. They like to say it's a different kind of team. The 1995 squad with Jamel and Jen Rosati, they always like to tell me that they were much smarter and much more students of the game of basketball. And they say that this team just is so athletic and is so fast and so skilled at all the different positions. But it would be a classic matchup, a little fantasy matchup, if you will, if those two teams did play each other, because obviously with Lobo and Carol Walters on that 95 team, they have the interior post play. But the thing I like about this team so much better is that their inside players here on this team 2002, they can get out and defend. They can run the floor. They are so extremely have that wide open style of basketball, but yet can play in the half court all the same.
All right, now this team, again, it shows you the real prowess of that starting lineup. For a while there, when you go to the UConn men, they had Caron Butler really step up his play and carry them. And Sue Bird, for a few games, really carried them. But in this game, again, the three forwards really proved to be too tough for Oklahoma to contend with. A lot of uncontested offensive rebounds and putbacks, and just some great position from the three forwards, Asia, Tamika, and Swin, all night long. Again, that 44-25 rebounding edge. And if you shut down UConn in one area, nobody's been able to shut them out in all areas, and that was the key. Don't you agree?
I totally agree, Eric. I think that UConn was just cleaning up some mistakes offensively and scoring points. I think anytime they wanted to, they could know that they could bring the ball in towards the hoop and at least get a rebound and a putback. UConn shot horribly from the perimeter tonight, 0 for 9 from three-pointers, and really the mid-range game of 15 to 19-foot jump shots was non-existent. This was a team that scored all of their points from 15 feet and in, and they still won by 12 points.
All right, Joe Tessitore, we'll get back to you a little bit later on. Right now, we'll send you to another break here on this championship edition of Sports Final and March Magic. Joe and I will come back, put some more touches on a rousing UConn victory, the national championship. The Huskies 39-0. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
It is America's game and America's team. One of the most storied franchises in baseball history and a modern-day dynasty. Now you can experience the magic of the best team in baseball on its new Connecticut home. New York Yankees baseball, coming April 5th to Channel 3.
Welcome back to this championship edition of Sports Final and March Magic. The UConn women get it done. Let's send you back out to San Antonio, where Joe Tessitore has been with the UConn women all week long. Joe, we've established the fact that it's the best senior class ever at UConn, especially maybe in all of women's college basketball, perhaps the best team ever. But I think you can realize now that coming into a game 38-0, there was a lot more pressure on the UConn women than they cared to admit until after they got this national championship secured.
Yeah, I thought that they would be totally fine, but Eric, they were tight, they were jumpy, and they made some very careless plays early on, be it fouls, be it turnovers. 21 turnovers, 0 for 9 on three-pointers. You know, Gino said to me the other night, he goes, Joe, you want to know the scary thing after this Tennessee game? He goes, Joe, that wasn't even our A game. Well, you know what? I was expecting their A-plus game tonight. Tonight was like a C-minus game, and they still won by 12 points. Now, you talk about that senior class leaving. Next year, Diana Taurasi will be the star of this team. With a minute 31 left tonight, Eric, she came up with a sensational play. They isolated her, and she made the score 76-67 to put this game away. We caught up with Diana afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, even though we never talked about going undefeated, I mean, once we got a couple, games under our belt, we knew we could do something special, and, this season's going down in history.
What's the image you're going to have burned into your head of this championship?
The four seniors, they've just done so much for us, and, not only for myself, but for the other guys, and, they really showed us what this program's about.
What was said when you guys closed the store and we were all outside waiting for it and you guys got in here just by yourself?
Coach had a couple words that, touched us all.
What did he say?
He just basically said, no one else knows how this feels but us, and he had a couple other things, so.
Dee, at the beginning of the season, I talked to you, Karan. You said you wouldn't be able to put yourself in the annals of history until you got one. Now that you have one, are you legit? I mean, are you... Put
it up there. Put me up. Nah, I still have a lot of work to do. I still have 2 more years, and, these guys have done so much in 4 years. So, I'm getting there, I hope, but not yet.
Has perfection set into you? I mean, 39-0, everything that you went through?
It's funny, though, because it doesn't seem like we're 39-0. Because of the practice, but, you always lose in practice, but right now we're on top of the world.
Could you care less about 21 turnovers and 0 for 9 three-pointers if you tried? I mean, do you really even 21?
care? Oh, I don't care, man. I don't. You know what?
It's like
whatever. We won. That's all that counts.
Do you feel like the weight of the world is kind of off your shoulders because as it got closer?
No, yeah. I mean, but that's the thing with our team. We're so calm under pressure. I mean, the pressure was on us today. If we don't win, oh my God, it'll be the biggest story. If we don't win, that'll be a bigger story. So we came out there and we were poised. I mean, Oklahoma played an incredible game.
Actually, the day what your record was, you want to tell me what is it now?
I think it's 39 now. Yeah, 39 now.
He screamed it at you.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, a lot.
Tonight. And with 2 minutes left, he clears out a side of the floor and says, go.
Yeah.
I mean, that just doesn't happen to anybody.
I don't know. Coach, I guess he sees something in me that I don't know. He was getting on me the whole game. I was tentative for most of the game, But, I mean, you play through it, and then at the end, he said, take the ball and get us a bucket. And he just cleared out the outside and said, if they collapse, kick it. If not, take it. So I didn't see anyone come, so I took it.
Is that how you fouled out Dales?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I mean, she played an incredible game, and she had 4 for most of the latter part of the second half. So I mean, that was a key, to get out of the ball game, and it's tough to win without, your best player.
You just beat her to the baseline?
Actually, she wasn't guarding me. She was coming over on weak side help, and I think she rotated a little late, and she clipped me a little bit.
So you touched on the seniors a little bit. I know you guys want to celebrate a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you thought about all like that?
No, you know what? Until they leave campus, they're still with us, and that's what I keep telling myself.
What does it mean to do this in front of your family?
Oh, awesome! My parents don't get to come watch many games, and my sister came out. When you can share with your family, that's the most important. It really is.
Can you talk about the front?
And, of course, that is quite a treat for Diana Taurasi. Her parents and her family lives in California. Eric, we want to remind everybody that UConn will be on a chartered flight out of here of San Antonio tomorrow morning. They'll be arriving at Bradley Airport at 4 o'clock. The public is invited to come and greet them at the airport and greet the national champions. Rain or shine, they're going to hold a public event there, and they will speak. Coach Gino Auriemma will speak to the fans there at Bradley Airport. Then doors open at 4:30 at Gamble Pavilion tomorrow afternoon. At about 5:30, they think the team will arrive at Gamble Pavilion for one giant national championship rally tomorrow afternoon, 5:30 at Gamble. Eric, that's it from San Antonio. It's been a great week, and as expected, they are the national champions at 39-0. I will catch up with you tomorrow, my friend.
All right, Joe, and I just want to know, the last time they won it, they made me dance with them a little bit out there at their post-party celebration. Are you going to do a little booty shaking tonight? That's all I want to know.
Yeah, we'll see what we can come up with. Maybe a little fiesta dance down here at the Alamo.
A little Macarena maybe or something. I don't know. Joe, great job this week. We'll see you tomorrow at the celebration at the airport and Gamble Pavilion. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Sports Final. Thanks so much for being with us and sharing the UConn Women's National Championship, their 3rd in school history. Congratulations to the men and women on another tremendous basketball campaign for us all. Have a good night and a great week. Or leave you with some sights and sounds of the UConn National Championship. Good night, everybody.
Oklahoma tonight, Amy, gave Connecticut more than a lot of people thought